The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the first episode of Pit Life BBQ. Gather on the pit with your hosts, Johnny Maggs, Messy Mike, and Crawdaddy Chris. Let's talk barbecue.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Pit Life BBQ podcast, where we talk everything barbecue and a lot of things we don't. Not barbecue, whatever goes on in the pit. Be it beer, cigars, sports, whatever we go, that's where we're rolling.
That's right, folks. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Crawdaddy Chris.
I'm Messy Mike.
Here we go.
So, gentlemen, what is your definition of barbecue?
I can't say I have a firm definition of barbecue, but I definitely think it involves family, friends, and bringing everyone together because that's what food does best. I mean, barbecue has been involved in my life since I was a child. My dad cooking on his grill and got me involved in it, and I've been a backyard enthusiast ever since. And it just kind of stuck with me, and that's where I'm in the seat today. So,
all right.
Same here. Barbecue, again, it's bringing people together, cooking outside, whether it's an open pit, charcoal grill, and we'll get into other stuff.
No gas grills.
No gas grills. But it's basically just, coming around a pit, friends, family, and having a couple beers, talking life, and having a good time.
All right. My definition is, just like you said, friends, family, fun. What better way to get together with everybody and relax than over food? It's always worked for me. Look at me, I'm a house. If anybody is qualified to talk about food, is me. So, the grill is very touchy subject.
Yes.
You're talking gas,
charcoal. Gas, propane.
Yeah.
Gas, propane.
I think
grill.
we can just cross that one out now.
Yes. Everybody would like to go on, onto a charcoal grill, and gas is, not recommended whatsoever, but sometimes you just don't have time, or that's what people are going to say. Sometimes we don't have time to light the charcoals, light a chimney, get the briquettes going, and put stuff on.
Which is perfectly fine, but you're not barbecuing.
Exactly.
You're grilling.
Exactly.
What,
yes.
what about electric?
Electric smokers, electric grills.
That's a good question.
Those are getting popular nowadays.
Right.
Rectech, Traeger, with the pellets. A lot of people like those because they're set it and forget it.
Right.
You can set the temperature. You don't have to keep watching it, and you're good to go until, your thermometer's reading what you want it to read. And
my concern always was I got to keep feeding the beast all the time and really monitoring the temperature, and so set it and forget it convenience.
Yes.
If you're trying to put on a 12, 14-pound brisket and go to bed and wake up and it's done, then that's the way to go, for sure.
Exactly. And, sometimes with the pellets, you don't really generate the smoke ring that you want to generate from a, real wood-fired smoker. So it's really good for chicken, but for your big meats, your brisket, your pulled pork, you're going to get the flavor, but you might not get the, the smoke ring that you're actually, looking for.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, the voice you're hearing off to the side is, you can see us and hear us. That's Mr. Ed Sullivan, our producer, and our fourth man in.
It's not the voice of God.
It's close.
It's close.
It's close. It's close. Well, as far as the gas grill goes with me, is it barbecue? No. Has it encompassed the word barbecue because of how we said? It's always encompassing family, friends. It's a get-together. Time to tell stories, catch up with one another. All falls under that barbecue. But, as we all work, we know what it's like. Come home, have the wife and kids, we're ready to go, we're hungry. Gas grill's the way to go. In the words of the great Buford T. Justice, I need a Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper because I'm in a goddamn hurry.
Johnny Maggs, 100%. A gas grill definitely serves its purpose. But when you're talking about barbecue, I just feel like it involves a lot, like fire management. That's That strikes me right on the side of the head right there. Fire management. It takes the fun out of it, you know? You got to control the fire, control the heat, control the temperature.
Building the wood a certain way, you know,
Right.
so you have maximum flow and you're not just, you know, overburning. You want to get the blue smoke, you know, so you're not over smoking.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to it. It's a fine process.
The best way I like to describe it is like playing golf. When you're playing golf, as we all know from the text at 4:44 this morning,
Yep, I played it today.
it's you against the course.
Correct.
When you're barbecuing and smoking, it's you against that particular piece of meat.
Yep.
You need low and slow. Some things
Hot and fast.
Hot and fast. All depends on what your preference, what you're using for a smoker for that reason itself.
Mm-hmm.
You can pull out the hot and fast or the low and slow, but traditionally barbecue has been the low and slow. Break down the fat. Fat is where the flavor is.
Correct.
That's it.
And it's just time consuming. It's a labor of love.
Yes, it
True.
is. Yep.
And golf and barbecue both involve beer, so.
Correct.
And cigars. Don't forget
And cigars.
Okay.
And cigars.
All right. Me, I'm an avid hunter, an outdoorsman. As I was searching through Facebook today, a little article caught my eye. Man barbecuing snake winds up in hospital.
Didn't barbecue it right.
No. A man
Didn't
in
catch it. Right?
Arizona decided at a birthday party a rattlesnake slid its way into the party. Decided to catch it and throw it on the grill. Well, you dope, you need to cut the head off first. He just threw it on the grill and got bit in the neck.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Anything venomous, you stay away from.
Yeah.
It's just a rule I have. Anything that can kill you in an instant, not so much.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The only thing reptile that I would consider cooking
I know what he's going to say.
would probably be the bacon wrapped alligator.
Oh,
We've been talking about that for quite some time.
Yes, we have.
I've had alligator once
In Florida.
down in Florida.
Yep.
During a bike week many years ago, and it was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It was
Probably not smoked though.
outstanding.
Probably fried.
It was deep fried, yes, blackened, buffalo style, and a Cajun style, something like that. But I can just imagine breaking that down, especially wrapped in bacon.
Oh, they look
and
great.
they sell them. You can buy them all skinned, ready to go, and whatever pound you want, and it's ready to throw in the smoker.
And why haven't we done this yet?
We're looking into it.
Oh,
Yeah.
note to self. So, how have your cooks been?
My cooks have been good lately. You were involved in one of them. I cooked
I
that
was.
18-pound brisket. That came out pretty good. Mike missed that one due to an event.
I did. I had
Messy
an event.
Mike's.
So yeah, we're usually busy on the weekends. We have I'm smoking 2 70-pound pigs this weekend for an event. So we're usually doing pigs every weekend, and yeah, it's going pretty well.
Now, Mike, you have a catering company, and you also compete.
I have a catering company. We do mostly on-site catering, where we bring everything fresh on site. Corporate catering. I dabble in the competition circuit. I'd love to do more of it, but with catering, I just haven't found the time to juggle both. I have competed in some competitions, which I've learned a ton. I've met a lot of people, but I'd love to start getting into the competition world just because it's such a different animal compared to
Right.
your backyard everyday barbecue, catering barbecue. It's a sport. It's just like any other sport. You gotta look at your judges, find out what they're looking for flavor profile depending where you are in the country. So you might have to use Memphis, you're going to use a vinegar-based sauce. Kansas City, you're going to use a bolder, smokier sauce. Texas, they want brisket and they want to taste, the salt, pepper. So it's a dynamic sport, and you can win a lot of money doing it, which is, could be fantastic, but it's great. I don't know.
It's definitely a night and day between just catering, barbecue. Not that yours is bad at all by any means. I can vouch for it. That's good.
Well,
but
competition's one bite.
that's it.
So you only get one bite to woo those judges, and that's it. One bite, everybody knows the rules. but you only get one bite. So you have to give it all in that one bite.
So in the competition, you can make as much as you want, and then you select what goes to
Correct.
the judges?
So in a competition, yeah, if it's ribs, you're mostly going to take the ribs from the center of the rack because those are the meatiest and those are the best looking and the straightest. And you're going to, put them in a box, and you're probably going to put, up probably 6 to 10, ribs in a box. Brisket, same thing. You're going to take it from the center of the brisket, not the ends.
Right.
I'll eat the ends.
Exactly. Yeah. And you put those in a box, and that's what competition
is. But you're not going to cook 2 or 3 briskets. You're just going to.
No, you might cook. Yeah. You might cook a couple more.
Hey, we got a small one coming up that you got us involved in, and.
Yeah, we're doing one in it's Hampton, New Hampshire, Smutty Nose Brewing Company. So we're we entered it, and we're going to see how we do. It's ribs only, so it's pretty easy, and it's local. And it'll be our first competition together, which will be, fun, and see how we do.
That'll be
so
a lot
excited.
of fun, and it is for a great cause. It's supporting the Hampton
Firefighters Association. Yep.
Firefighters Association, which we always like to thank our first responders, police, fire.
100%.
Yep. Thank you very much. And
but will too many cooks spoil the ribs? I mean, this seems like a very opinionated.
So
endeavor.
What we've decided to do is I'm going to cook my way. He's going to cook his way. He's going to cook his way. We're all going to cook, so many ribs, and then we're going to have a blind tasting ourselves at the end of it, and then figure out which one we should actually turn in.
Yep.
So
all right.
Hopefully that works for everybody. We kind of talked about it.
Yeah.
So we're all going to cook ribs, and we're going to eat ribs, and then we're going to decide which ones to turn in.
We're not just
You're
going to
acting
eat
like
ribs.
this is the first time you heard about it.
We're going to eat. We're bringing appetizers.
That we're eating ribs.
We're getting there in the morning.
Down.
We're eating appetizers. We're eating a nice lunch. We're gonna do it up correctly.
Well, how bad could that be, regardless of the outcome?
Exactly.
Sounds like
Again,
a party to me.
You're with friends, family, and you'll be drinking beers.
Now, watching these shows on TV, obviously there's the banter back and forth of competitiveness and trash talking, if I should say. Is that really true? Because I've also heard that the barbecue competitions and the barbecue group itself is extremely shirt off their back if you need it.
Yeah, the
media.
They
make up a lot of that just for.
Well, you need ratings for TV,
exactly.
Obviously.
I mean, even just not in competitions, but even if the associations like the National Barbecue Association, Northeast Barbecue Society, NEBS. Even if you're a member of those societies, I mean, I went to my first one 5 years ago by myself in Texas, didn't know a thing, and all of a sudden,
look at you now.
All these guys that a couple of them, I've seen them on TV, brought me under their wing and basically hung out with me for the whole week. You learn a lot from these guys, but they will tell you anything you want to know unless it's in competition. If it's during a competition where you're cooking and you're not just hanging out, don't talk to them because they will not want to talk to you. But other than that, it's just like the firefighters, it's a brotherhood. Once you're in the family, you're in the family, and they'll take care of you. And that's one of the reasons why I stuck with this, and, I wanted to do this because barbecue is it's like no other way of life.
And that's how we became friends.
That's it.
We all got in together. We have the love of barbecue.
I've met a lot of good friends, some down in Texas that I haven't even actually met yet through Facebook groups and whatnot that have just became good friends just because they're willing to help each other out. And
you have a page, New England Pitmasters. I mean,
it's a great community.
It's crazy how many people you've brought together, and it's New England Pitmasters, but they're not all from New England. They're all over the country. You found that out, and and you've talked to them. We've actually met a couple of them. A couple of them have come to your house. We're trying to get together with them. So it's just growing.
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, just with the camaraderie with barbecue in general. But we started the New England Pitmasters Facebook group probably a year and a half ago. Me and my brother-in-law, and now we're up to like 1,200 plus members, which is amazing.
It's got more likes than I do.
Hey, what can I say?
But you get the 5-star ratings.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
I didn't get any ratings.
I'll give you 5 stars on that brisket the other week.
I'll take
Those
it.
burnt ends were like candy.
I have to try it.
It was
Ask him.
It was amazing.
He'll tell you. He'll steer you in the
good.
right directions.
Honey
Now,
for the money.
What is a burnt end for our listeners who don't know?
And how do you do burnt ends? What's a real burnt end?
This is why I'm asking you.
I don't think there's a real anything when it comes to
No.
making your own.
I mean, your burnt ends are supposed to come from the point of the brisket. And, that's why they're delicious and expensive when you get them because there are only so many, just like the cheeks of any animal. But you basically you smoke the brisket once it's done, and you take the point, you chop them into cubes, throw them in a pan. I put a little rubbed brown sugar and then sauce on them. You throw them back on the pit for another couple hours, and basically you just want to see those things jiggle like Jello. Once they're like Jello cubes, then they're ready.
Caramelized, like over the top. Yeah.
Little pillows of goodness.
And you can also do pork belly burn ends.
You can do pork belly
You don't
burnt
have to
ends.
always do brisket.
Correct.
I actually seen a guy do bologna burn ends. I don't know if that's a real
Bologna
thing.
burn-
I don't know, but that might be delicious.
Bologna's not my thing.
Have you ever had fried bologna?
Oh, amen.
It is amazing.
Fried bologna sandwich
is seriously
with some
pro-
mayo
it's-
and a
yeah.
tomato. Come on.
Mayo? No, mustard.
Mustard?
Yeah.
I'd give it a whirl, but I don't know.
Phenomenal.
I'll try anything once or twice.
That's right. That's right.
Now, with the brisket, as you were saying, the point. The brisket also, a whole brisket comes in technically two pieces, the point and the flat,
Correct. 2 muscles, yep.
connected, and that is, average size is what?
An average size can be anywhere from, I'd say a decent average size is roughly like 13 to 18 pounds. And
that's
it's called a full packer.
Whole packer,
Yep.
yep.
So that's when you get, the 2 muscles intact. You can have the butcher separate them, but around this area, when you ask the butcher to separate them, he just cuts it in half, and it's not really separating the 2 muscles.
Right.
So you might as well just, learn and
Do it yourself.
Go YouTube, Google it, and do it yourself.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of cooks with lately for my family, just a brisket flat,
Yep.
which is a little difficult to keep moist.
Exactly.
You don't have the point in the fat and everything to render down into the
Correct.
flat, which is
What a lot of
key.
people do is you take the point and you put the flat on top of the point, and then you smoke it that way. And that way, all the juices and everything's staying moist and intact. And then when you wrap it, you put the point on top of the flat, wrap it that way, and put it back in. And that way, the point's going on the flat and rendering all the juices that way. So, like when I usually do a brisket, like people say, what should you do? Should you do the fat side up on a brisket? Should you do the fat side down? I was taught or told to do the fat side down, and then once you wrap it, once you put it back in, you flip it and put it in that way, and that's what all the fat. Now it's just turning into goodness, and I like to say coagulating. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah,
but
I was always told the same thing on your unwrapped when you're cooking it on the smoker. Do fat side towards the heat, which is going to be fat side down on an offset smoker. So, and then same thing when you go to wrap it, fat side up, so the fat renders, dumps into the meat. There you go.
Yep.
Now, before we start World War III, that can be a whole nother episode that we have of to wrap or not to wrap.
Yes.
Is a very large debate in the barbecue world.
Pink butcher paper.
I think we could probably get 30 minutes out of that one. You might want to hold off.
That might be a double episode. So, what else?
I don't know.
Favorite types of sauce?
Favorite types of sauce.
My own.
His own. His sauce is pretty good.
I have to vouch for that. Even my wife, Claudia, asked me the other day, can you see if Mike sells his sauce? I go, I know he sells the sauce. Well, how much can I get? I'm like, that's why I married you. Go big or go home. See if he's got gallons, she says. Little tiny thing. Little tiny thing.
What
Looking
about
for gallons of sauce?
commercially available? Is there anything that you think is better than others?
Well, obviously, Sweet Baby Ray's. I mean, Sweet Baby Ray's is the king of barbecue sauces.
Yeah.
That's what everybody thinks of. I mean, I personally like it. it's a good barbecue sauce. You have Stubbs.
Stubbs is always
barbecue
good.
sauce. Sticky Fingers.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. Sweet Baby Ray's is just it caramelizes very nicely with the meat. That's one of the reasons why I developed mine. I kind of took a couple of recipes from a couple of competition barbecue teams, put them together, and I was looking for that caramelization, and that's what Sweet Baby Ray's does very nicely. So I developed it.
I think, and I use that at home. I think it's got good balance to it, so you're not going to offend anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You never know in a crowd. If you go too hot on the barbecue, too spicy, then some folks just won't touch it. But
that's the other thing with the Sweet
And it's
Baby.
cost effective.
yeah.
And the other thing with the Sweet Baby Ray's, they have the different styles. The honey barbecue, the
Hawaiian,
sweet and
Chipotle.
spicy, the Chipotle.
Anything
So
you can think of, you can change the profile, whatever you want to do.
add a little of this, add a
Yeah,
little of
I
that.
usually cut mine down. I like it a little thinner. To be honest with
And that's
you,
the thing, too. A lot of people will buy a barbecue sauce and, to call it their own, they'll put brown sugar in it. They'll put honey. They may even put some of their rub in it. So, if you're cooking at home and, you want to do something other than a store-bought barbecue sauce, but you don't want to go all the way to make your own, you can buy a barbecue sauce and put whatever you want in it to change the profile that you're looking for. I mean, I used to buy Stubbs Sweet Heat and Sweet Annie Mae's barbecue sauce, mixed them, and that's what I used for the first probably 2 years. And then they stopped selling Sweet Annie Mae's, and I was like, shit, I don't know what to do. So that's why I started looking, and that's why I had to make my own, because it wasn't available.
And the rumor on the streets is you might be coming out with a mustard-based sauce.
Yes, I'm getting numerous requests to
like a North Carolina style tangy.
Yeah, vinegar-based
sweet, tangy
mustard
Yeah.
barbecue sauce, which goes very nicely with pulled pork.
Well, folks, we thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us on
Thank
our
you very
first
much.
one.
What are we going to talk about next week?
Next week?
Pits, baby.
Pits?
Wood.
How do you get started in barbecue? How do you get started smoking? I think that's a good
Perfect.
next step.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
How'd you get started smoking, and what kind of pit were you using?
Yeah.
That's
do
right.
it.
Yeah.
I think it was a good show, gentlemen.
I have some good stories for that, so.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank you for joining us. As always, enjoy the weekend. And next week on the Pit Life, obviously, we'll talk about getting started in barbecue. And, well, from Johnny Maggs, Crawdad Chris, Messy Mike, keep the smoke rolling. See you next week.
Cheers.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.